This video was intended to inform and educate the public.
Welcome back to the Junkyard News channel. Today's video, I'd like to talk to you about juvenile trafficking and an event that actually happened in Canada, outside the US today. I want you to picture this. I want to picture you're 17. You've seen the movies out there. Just to give a reference, let's take...
There's someone here.
Our cousins are back?
Oh my God, they got Amanda! Dad! They took her! I think they're...
The movie Taken, okay? It's well known that teenage girls in the world are being abducted to put into trafficking. And there is a fear. There's parents out there that actually will take the time to talk to their kids about the dangers of being abducted on the side of the road any given day. You know, have situational awareness of what's going on around you. In Canada, in a province or town called Edmonton, there was a 17-year-old girl who was just walking down the road. She had enough situational awareness to realize that a car was pulling up beside her rather quickly, unmarked SUV. Picture you're this 17-year-old girl, and you do see an unmarked SUV race towards you, and men jump out and start coming at you. What are you going to think? What goes through your mind as a child at that moment?
I thought they were trafficking me. Sorry.
Haley Nahamko-White still can't believe what happened earlier this week.
That is exactly what went through this young girl's mind. She thought she was about to be abducted. She thought she was in a fight for her life. One of the men said, "Stop, don't move, or else I'm going to tase you." And she freaked, so she runs. The men proceed to chase her down and tackle her on the cement, giving her road rash, bruises, scrapes. Come to find out that the vehicle and the men that jumped out and went after her were in fact Edmonton Police Services.
I had an unmarked SUV come pull up to me, and they said that they were police, and I didn't see any logos or nothing. They didn't turn on their lights at all.
The 17-year-old says the man told her if she ran, she'd be tased, and she panicked and took off. One of the men tackled her on the street. Her face shows the road rash.
They were cops. No lights, no sirens, no marking on the SUV. Jump out and go after a 17-year-old young lady. She was terrified. She was terrified.
I thought they were trafficking me. Sorry.
She was just going about her day. She didn't do anything wrong. Why were these men coming after her? Fight or flight. She fled. She thought she was running for her life. An Edmonton girl fought for her life, fearing she was being abducted to be trafficked. But it turns out the would-be captors were Edmonton Police Services officers who mistook her for a suspect in a nearby domestic violence call. Haley White had just gotten off work in North Edmonton and was about to cross the street to meet her boyfriend. It was 10:30 p.m., pitch dark outside. She was on the phone with her partner, who was parked across the street. All of a sudden, she says, I had an unmarked SUV pull up to me. They said they were police. I didn't see any logos or nothing. They didn't turn on their lights at all. No sirens. The 17-year-old said a man in a vehicle told her if she fled, he would deploy a taser on her. She panicked and ran. Who wouldn't? What child wouldn't? I didn't think they were real cops. I thought they were lying. I just thought I was getting kidnapped, and I started running. One of the officers tackled her on the street, where her face scraped against the pavement and left her with road rash still visible days after and on her lips and chin. The 17-year-old thought she was fighting for her life. He put me in handcuffs, and I remember kicking my feet. That's when they put my feet down, too. I just kept howling and screaming, and that's when they told me be calm. White said she thrashed and screamed repeatedly, saying, "Please don't traffic me. I'm a good person," and she tried to escape. Meanwhile, she said her boyfriend rushed to her aid from across the street. He parked in the middle of the road over there, and he ran. He ran, and he was screaming, "Get off her, get off her." In a statement, the Edmonton Police Service told news agencies the officers were an unmarked vehicle responding to a domestic disturbance nearby in which a woman was refusing to leave a home. While en route to the call, the two officers noticed the female matching the description of the woman in the disturbance in the area. Uniformed police officers approached the female in their unmarked police vehicle and advised her they wished to speak to her. The female began to step away, and when one officer asked her not to run, she fled into the open roadway, the statement from EPS Communications said. At this time, officers believed she was the female suspect, and one officer pursued her on foot. The other officer positioned the police vehicle to prevent other traffic from striking either of them. The female, who was resisting, was walked back to the curb where the officers took her into custody to prevent her from fleeing. In the back of the police SUV, the young girl said she found out the men were actually police officers and she wasn't their suspect at all. Her boyfriend confirmed her identity and she was released. A police supervisor was called and talked to her. He said, "I'm so sorry, Haley. We were looking for some very bad people that matched your description." Haley said after the ordeal, the officers who chased her turned his tongue collar around and she could see the EPS logo. But in the dark and in her panic, she said that she didn't see it at first.
I didn't think they were real cops, and I thought they were lying.
The 17-year-old thought she was fighting for her life. Wrestled into cuffs and put in the back of the car, Haley found out the men were, in fact, police, and she wasn't their target.
His mom arrived on the scene. I was quoted as saying she was totally distraught. She wouldn't even open her eyes to look at me. I was like, "Mom's here, you're okay." She had choice words for the officers when she arrived, fearing the worst.
He said to me, he's like, "I'm so sorry, Haley. Like, we were looking for some very bad people that matched your description."
Charlene Nahamko, Haley's mom, says she doesn't think all officers are bad, but says incidents like this reflect poorly on police.
I taught my children to trust you, the uniform. I taught my children to go to them for help. And the uniform hurt my child. So who do you go to?
Haley, her mom, and Engel all agree this entire ordeal easily could have been avoided.
The teen was released into her mother's custody, and the young lady was quoted as saying that she can forgive what happened, but forgetting what police did to her is the most difficult thing she could do. I do have such respect for them, but now it's totally deteriorated. I can't even look at a cop the same way. There was nothing really indicating that they were police other than them saying they were police. And we all know people masquerade as police when they're not.
Edmonton police say their professional standards branch is investigating.
I have such high respect for them, but now it's like totally deteriorated. And it's like I can't look at a cop the same ever again.
Every time she sees law enforcement, she's going to get a chill down her spine. Until next video, stay safe and always record the police.